Hello, everybody. Welcome to the United Methodist Church of Red Bank. I'm Evan Courtney, the Director of Music. Thank you for all of you who are here in person and for all who are here watching online. We've got a really nice concert for you this afternoon. It's all Baroque pieces, so that's from the about 1600 to 1750. Most of the stuff we'll be doing is well within that time range. And we've got a nice ensemble of people here. So I hope you enjoy it. Come back next week for something entirely different. It'll be in Fellowship Hall. It'll be kind of some rock, funk, jazz kind of stuff with Kenneth and William Blake and a couple of their friends. So come back next week. And then the week after that, Stephen and Russell and I will be doing some piano duets, some piano organ duets. So keep coming back for a couple weeks. But without any further ado, we will start the concert.
That was a little two-voice madrigal by Thomas Morley, who lived in London at about the same time as Shakespeare. He was the most famous composer of secular music in Elizabethan England. He was active as a church musician, singer, composer, and organist at St. Paul's Cathedral. So, those of you in the know of musicology, Thomas Morley is considered a Renaissance composer, not a Baroque composer, but for the intents of this concert, he's close enough. He lived between 1557 and 1603. The somewhat arbitrary start of the Baroque period is 1600, so we're close. We will now sing another two-voice madrigal by John Dowland, who's also considered a Renaissance composer, but he lived until 1626, so he crosses into the Baroque for quite a long period of time. This piece is called Mourn, Mourn, so something completely different. It's not easy to find really good duets for a baritone and an alto. There are a lot of duets for sopranos and altos and sopranos and tenors, but we kind of plumbed the depths of possibilities for our voice types, and we found two lovely duets from the Baroque. We found two lovely duets. Hello? Let me try. No. We found two lovely duets from the Baroque period. This first one is by Claudio Giovanni Antonio Monteverdi. He lived between 1567 and 1643. He was an Italian composer and was very important in the development of what we know as opera. I'd like to tell you who we are in this lovely duet from L'Incoronazione di Poppea, the coronation of Poppea, one of Monteverdi's last operas. So let me see if I can get this right. I'm Nero, Emperor Nero, and this is Poppea. I am enamored with Poppea, but I have a wife, and her name is Ottavia. Poppea has a lover, and his name is Ottone. Ottavia, my wife, orders her lover to kill her. She's the empress, after all, and she can do that. She says, why don't you, Ottone, dress up as a woman, and you can go and then get access to Poppea and murder her. Of course, Nero finds out, and he orders them both banished. So Ottone and Ottavia have been banished, and Poppea and I, the emperor, are free to carry on, and Poppea gets crowned as empress. I hope you got the idea that they liked each other. And I failed to tell you the translation. I gaze at you, I tighten closer to you, I delight in you, I am bound to you. I no longer suffer, I no longer die. Oh, my life, my treasure, you are mine. Yes, yes, you are my life, my heart. And now on to a very different duet. It was not our intent to present two duets for alto and baritone of very similar plots. We just found two very beautiful duets that just happen to have some similarities. This next duet is by Handel. It is from an oratorio, but it's very much like an opera. It's a secular story. And let me see now if I can get this right. It's called Obey My Will from Semele. This is Juno. She is a goddess, and she is the wife of Jupiter, the king of the gods. And her husband Jupiter is enamored with a mortal woman named Semele. And then Juno finds out that her husband is running around with a young mortal woman. So Juno needs to come to me. My name is Somnus, and I am the god of sleep. And I have a leaden rod that has magic power. So Juno wants this leaden rod so that she can go back to the guards. There are these dragons surrounding Semele. Jupiter has put dragons around Semele to guard her. And so Juno is going to take this leaden rod and make them go to sleep. Then she's going to then have the power to appear to Semele as her sister. But when she comes to me, the god of sleep, I'm asleep. And she has to wake me up, and she tempts me that says that I can have for my own a nymph named Pasithea. So I wake up, and I then give her the rod. Then she goes, appears to Ino, gets Semele to ask for anything she wants. When Jupiter comes to her next, says, ask him to appear to you in your godlike form. And we all know that when a god appears to a mortal in a godlike form, the mortal dies.
Before we get to this last multi-movement piece, I just want to say thank you to all these musicians, to Stephen Russell, to Lisa Frost-Goodall, to our cellist Rose Bart. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. There are offering baskets at the front and the back. If you could, feel to give to that, it just goes to the music department here. But anyway, thank you all for coming. Here's Stephen.
We'd like to end with a trio sonata. Of course, for a Baroque trio sonata, you need 4 players. It's a trio because there are 2 melody instruments and then what's called a continuo, a keyboard, and there was always a bass instrument with the keyboard. So that makes up the 3rd part of the trio of 4 people. And this is written for 2 alto recorders and continuo. And there are 6 movements. This is an unusual trio sonata for Telemann. Telemann was a very prolific German Baroque composer. And the more we investigate the music of Telemann, the more I absolutely love his music. And I don't have to say I didn't grow up knowing a lot of music by Telemann. And now I do, and it's all wonderful stuff. Of the 6 movements, the first one is an overture. It's an overture in the French style, starts with a slow introduction and then a fugue-like faster section. And that's common for a Baroque piece to start with an overture. The second movement is a slow movement, just marked andante. And then we get into fun. The next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 7 movements. I'm sorry. There are 7 movements. The next five movements are all named for women. We have no idea why Telemann named each of these movements after a historic woman, but these are the five women. So the third movement would be Xanthippe. Xanthippe was an ancient Athenian, and she was the wife of Socrates. And she was known for having an argumentative spirit. So Xanthippe is often used as an ill-tempered or shrewish woman. The next movement is Lucretia. It's a very slow, sad movement. We know the name Lucretia. She was assaulted by an Etruscan, and it was probably the cause of the end of the Roman monarchy, and she eventually ended up stabbing herself to death. So Lucretia is a very sad movement. Next comes Corinna. Corinna was a Greek lyric poet, and she is one of the few preserved female poets from ancient Greece. So that's Corinna. Next to last is Clelia. And the name Clelia is to be renowned, to be famous. And she was taken as a hostage as a part of a peace treaty with Rome, and she actually got away. She swam across the Tiber River, and then she got on a horse and escaped being a hostage. So this is the horse movement, and it sounds very much like our typical idea of horse riding music. Finally, the last movement is Dido. Dido was the legendary founder and first queen of the Phoenician city-state of Carthage. In most accounts, she was the queen of Tyre, and she flees some tyranny going on in Tyranny, and then she goes to the north coast of Africa to found this city. So there are slow parts that are very sad, marked triste, or sad, and then there are very fast parts marked disperato, or desperate.
Again, thank you all for coming, and come next week. All right, see you then.